What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. This week in the news today, we're going to talk about a few things. Nothing really huge going on. Same old crap. Far left mob trying to rule everything. Just getting ridiculous. Many people have covered the whole Redskins, Washington Redskins changing their name. I am Native American. I think it's retarded. Redskins has never been a racial slur as far as I'm concerned. So it's kind of dumb and ignorant. It's the same as Columbus when he came over here and called everyone Indians. Europeans, when they first started settling here in the United States, they started calling Native Americans Redskins. But it wasn't meant as a racial slur, so they're ignorant and they're stupid for caving to the left-wing mob. Anyways, regardless of that, I did want to talk about a couple things that I saw on Twitter. I am new to Twitter. I just made an account like a week ago. It's very new to me. I'm still trying to figure out some of the quirks with it. However, from watching other YouTubers describe Twitter, I completely agree with them. Twitter is a dumpster fire of far left people who just sit at home or sit on their phones and insult people and call them names, and all kinds of different stuff. Even when you're presenting them with truth and facts, these people cannot absolutely handle it. They cannot stand truth and facts. All they want to do is scream and yell at you whenever you present them with facts. So it's crazy. Twitter is crazy. I'm telling you right now, it's ridiculous. But there's a couple things I want to go over because I've gotten a couple arguments on Twitter. First week, already getting a bunch of arguments. I got name called and everything else for presenting truth and facts. They just couldn't handle it. The first thing that I want to talk about is the whole thing that news crap you might have seen over the whole Scooby-Doo thing where the producer wants to change Velma into a gay character when we all know she's not gay. These people, this 1% of the alphabet community who want to whine and complain, they think they have to have representation in every single story, and they do not. That's not what makes the story good. You don't need to focus on a character's sexuality. Two, it was the producer who wants to change the character gay, not the creator. You're basically shitting on somebody else's art and you're stealing it. It's very lazy writing because you know the name is going to bring you money because everybody knows the name Scooby-Doo. So, it's just like taking the Mona Lisa and drawing all over it and saying, hey, guess what? I changed her to be something better. No, you don't do that to artwork, you dumbasses. This 1% of whine and complain all the time, they don't understand that. How morally wrong it is. They think it's okay to steal from somebody else and change characters, and blah blah blah, just as long as they can kick it to the fans, like little brats. Is basically what they are. And they know it. Unless it happens to them. They create something and then somebody goes and changes their shit, they're in an uproar. But they can do it and it's okay. So, these people are dumb. They're retarded. Um, but yeah, I got kind of an argument over that because they were being stupid and silly. Running around the main issue, which is they know this producer's being lazy and he's stealing, you know, an established iconic character. It, I don't have a problem with gay people, and I think they can go ahead and create new characters and stuff like that, but don't take a character that's already established and iconic. Velma's not gay. It's plain and simple. It's not a new character. You're stealing somebody else's artwork and you're shitting on it. So, that's how I feel about it. That's my opinion. Alright, moving on. The next thing I want to talk about is I got in a little bit of an argument with some really hardcore fans of the freaking Power Rangers. And I'm like, seriously, this is a kid's show for kids like 5 years old to 13. You are adults. Please get over it. It is a kid's show. It's for kids. It's super kiddie-ish, super campy, super cheesy. It reminds you of the Godzilla, the old 1970s, 80s Godzilla films, because you got people running around in rubber suits, pretending they know karate. It's just, they're running around with their heads cut off, trying to, do karate moves. So it's really silly and cheesy. I mean, it's bad. It's really bad. And all I did on Twitter to spark these guys to start screaming, yelling at me, is someone has said that they're getting ready to come out with a new Power Rangers movie. And I'm like, again, already? I mean, the last one bombed. The 2 or 3 movies previously bombed. All you have to do is look at the box office numbers. They're pathetic, for all these Power Ranger movies. Nobody wants Power Ranger movies. They suck. Plain and simple. I'm sorry, but they do. If you want to like that crap, more power to you. But the majority of people do not like it. And that's just a fact. You can be mad about it all you want. Apparently, they thought I didn't know what I was talking about because I didn't watch any of the Power Rangers show. Well, of course I didn't watch any Power Rangers show. It sucks. It's terrible. It's a retarded ass show. It's for kids. Granted, kids love it. Back in the day, they loved that kind of shit. But they don't anymore. At least the majority of them don't. The show started off with, a Japanese show called Super Sentai. Or Tei, or however you want to pronounce that. Sentai. Anyway, the creator of the show was Shitaro Ishinomori. I hope I pronounced that right. I hope I got his name right. No disrespect. He started the show Super Sentai, Tai, or however you want to pronounce it. And it ran for like 2 years, 1975 to 1977. The show ended, and then a group called Saban grabbed it, and they started making an anthology series out of it. So every season would be a different story with a different name for the show. Even though it was part of the Super Sentai universe, it was a completely different story. Each season was a different story with different characters and crap in it. So it was not actually a part of the original show, except by name. You know, the brand name continued on. In 93 and 96 is when they decided to bring it over, or in 93 to 96 is when they brought it over to the United States and called it Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The show ended in 1996. That's what I was trying to get to these guys. That show ended. But they started again. They did the same thing. They started an anthology series, and they started changing the show's name to every season, every year. Zero, or Zeo. Sorry, not Zero. Zeo, Turbo, Space, etc. Different stories, different characters. Yes, it had some themes and elements from the original story. Sometimes characters would pop in from previous seasons, but they were different stories. Completely different stories. That's why they kept changing the show. Now, in 2000, Disney actually bought it from Saban for a little while, and they had something called RPM, Power Ranger RPM, and crap like that. That ran for a little while, and then Saban bought it back from Disney, and they pretty much revised the whole show. They changed it all. So you got like Super Samurai Power Rangers and crap like that from then on, you know. So again, they changed it all. Completely different stories. It just all belongs to the Power Ranger universe. So the show did end at one point and started again. It did that a couple of times. But they were claiming I didn't do my research. Hey, I just did my research, so kiss my ass. That's how the show goes. And basically, all the American versions is basically Japanese versions turned into American versions. The Super Sentai show. That's what they're basing all these shows, Power Ranger shows off of. They're just brought over here and turned into Power Rangers. But anyways, the show's still or the anthology series is still going. The brand name, the franchise, it's still going. Just different shows, different characters, different stories. Anyways, however, the ratings are going down. I did a lot of checking into the TV ratings and stuff. The show's not doing good. It's actually going down. Nobody's watching it hardly anymore. They went way below 1 million views, and that's worrisome for them. So I don't know how much longer Power Rangers is going to last. It's been a good run, but it's probably not going to continue. Like I said, great kids show. Kids love that crap. You know, adults, not so much. Nobody really cares for guys running around big ass rubbery suits saying, I got it, or let's go over there and kick their butt, blah blah blah. You know, it's because it's a kids show. You know, I get it, but not everybody liked it. You know, more power to you if you did. Wasn't my cup of tea. Anyways, that's the whole Power Rangers crap. All I said was the movies have done terrible, which the box office numbers have shown. It's a failing. It's failed over and over again. The show's failing. It's just no longer, you know, it is what it is, guys. You know, for those who are fans of the show. You know, it's pretty much dying out. Anyways, let's get on to your B-movie reviews. Alright. This week we are doing Horror Week. The first one I'm going to go over with you is a fairly older movie. It was done in 1960. It's called Village of the Damned. Now this had a little bit of a sci-fi twist to it as well, but it mainly focused on the horror aspect of the movie or story. It only made about $2 million. But that was actually fairly decent for back then. It started George Sanders and Barbara Shelley. And basically the story is, you know, you have this English village. The entire village, all the residents of the town, pretty much, they black out. People didn't know what was going on the outside of the village. They didn't know if people were, dead or what was going on. They sent investigators there. A few of them passed out trying to get to other people. That looked like a car accident. There was a bus that was on the side of the road, and people were trying to get to him. A couple of people, and they both passed out trying to get to him. The Royal Army got involved, and then all of a sudden the people came too. Later on they find out that this town or village, however you want to say it, that a lot of the women were pregnant. Well, a certain number of them were pregnant. Even women who hadn't had sex or didn't have husbands or anything like that, they ended up pregnant. They found that very strange. Well, there's a professor, George Sanders is a professor of science. He wants to study these children. He even has one of these children. Come to find out, these children have extraordinary abilities. They're very highly intelligent, extremely highly intelligent. To a point where anyone who dislikes them, thinks they're an abomination, they start killing off with their minds. They have like mind powers or whatever. So they kind of like take control pretty much of the town, everyone's terrified of them. Now they don't necessarily force people to like them or anything. They just, the town's people, they know if they do anything to them, what could possibly happen to them. They could wind up dead. The professor tries to convince them to be morally just and what's right from wrong, but these kids, they really don't see it that way. They see it as survival. They can read people's thoughts to a degree, and they figure out that in other parts of the world that this is supposedly had happened. There was like 10 other places, I think, in the world that it happened. They all killed off the children, every single one of them. They're the last ones left. They're the last group left. So they feel they have to survive. towards the end of the movie, the professor rigs a bomb, and it goes over in his head over and over again that he's staring at a brick wall. He takes the bomb inside this little school that he's been teaching the kids. He's supposed to figure out a way for them to get out of the country and disappear, but instead he rigs this bomb up, and before they can break the mental barrier he's created in his mind thinking of the wall, they pretty much blow up and all die. And that's the end of the movie. It wasn't a bad movie for back then. I had to watch it in black and white. I couldn't find a colorized version of the old film. Now they do a remake of this in 1995, and I seen that a long time ago. I don't really remember much about it. I'll probably get around sometime to watching that version too again. But for now, this one wasn't bad. It was actually pretty decent. I'm not a big fan of black and white films, but this one was alright. Wasn't bad. The story, I definitely give the story a solid, it was a really good story, so I'm definitely giving it a solid 4. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty damn good. It was a good story. So I definitely give it a 4. And this is a scale of 1 to 5. I definitely give it a 4. The acting was really good. It was decent. Really watchable. So I give that a 4 as well. Acting was pretty well done. Now this is 1960, so you're not going to have like elaborate special effects or any CGI or anything like that. So for what it was worth, what little special effects they did, I'd probably give it like a 3 or so. So it wasn't too bad. It was decent. And as far as the overall film, I definitely give it a good 4. It was really good for a classic. A nice job. Excellent movie. Yeah, Village of the Damned is definitely a classic horror flick. If you like that kind of stuff, I definitely suggest you check it out. I definitely recommend it. 2 thumbs up. Great flick. Alright, moving on. Next movie I want to talk about or give a review on is called Children of the Corn, which was done in 1984. Everybody knows it was written by Stephen King and adapted to a movie. It made about $14 million at the box office, so it did all right for its time. It starred Peter Horton and Linda Hamilton. You probably know her best from the Terminator series. Anyways, Stephen King, for a long time, has been the master of horror. Some of his stuff is kind of goofy, but others have been really good. He does some good horror flicks. Or horror stories. I have to admit it. I remember hearing about this movie when I was a kid. A lot of people talked about it. It wasn't until many years later before I got to actually watch it. Now, this spawned off a number of movies, but nothing will beat the original. It was the best of the bunch. Basically, the story is this couple comes into this town in Nebraska, and they end up hitting this kid on the road. They freak out. The guy figures out that the kid was murdered, had his throat slit before he even made it to the road. So they know they're not the ones who killed him. He's also an intern to be a medical doctor. So that kind of helps him with that particular knowledge. They go into this town and it looks deserted, but they eventually find out all the kids in the town still living there, and they are the ones who ended up killing all the adults. They've been brainwashed by this kid named Eli or Elijah or whatever his name is, and they have another kid named Malachi who's kind of like the enforcer. You know, he makes everyone follow the rules and blah blah blah. Anyways, they worship some type of demonic entity that lives in the cornfield or in the soil beneath the earth in the cornfield, and they call him he who lives behind the rows. So you have some religious aspects, like Eli's like the preacher or whatever, and then you know, he's basically brainwashing these kids into believing in this satanic monster or whatever, creature, whatever it is, entity, spirit, and that they gotta serve up certain sacrifices sometimes. So the couple's trapped in town trying to figure a way to get out. They capture Linda Hamilton and string her up on this like cross in the middle of the cornfield. They're going to sacrifice her. They've hurt Peter Horton, you know, his character. He's kind of hurt, but he befriends a couple of the children who doesn't believe in that they should follow Eli and his worshippers, so they kind of help him out. They figure out they need to burn the cornfield, which they eventually do to destroy the monster. Eli and Malachi have a few differences, and Malachi ends up sacrificing Eli, killing him off, but then he comes back and he kills Malachi off. You know, it gets a little intense, a little crazy, but in the end they burn the cornfield, and the monster's supposed to have died, and yada yada, and they get the kids out of the town, and everybody lives happily ever after. That's the end of the movie. It's alright. I don't think it was like the best horror flick or anything like that. It was a decent story. I don't think it was the greatest of stories, but it was an original idea at the time, so it wasn't too bad. I'll give it a solid 4 just for originality for back then. So it was a good story. Really good. Excuse me. The acting was decent enough. I don't think it was the best, but it was alright. It was decent enough. I give it a solid 3. It was definitely worth watching. Or watchable, but anyways. Of course, there wasn't really a whole lot of special effects or anything like that. They were kind of cheesy with the monster and crap. So I give the special effects and stuff a kind of a 2, because it wasn't really, Yeah, I mean, you could tell it was definitely fake. But anyways, overall the story wasn't bad. It was pretty good. You know, overall, the movie overall, I give it probably a good 3. It was definitely decent, watchable. It wasn't too bad for what it was. even with me not being a big horror flick fan. Not bad. At least it wasn't a real like stalkerish type movie. I'm not a big fan of stalker movies as far as horror is concerned. Um, but yeah, it was decent enough. Definitely check it out. It was worth a watch for sure. I give it 2 thumbs up. Wasn't bad. Wasn't a bad flick. Okay, that's all I have for you this week. Definitely give me a shout out into the comments down below. And let me know how you feel about, what I said earlier about Twitter and everything. These dumbasses, that just, oh my gosh, they'll bitch about anything. I'm telling you, it's crazy on there. Freaking cum twats. A lot of them. It's just ridiculous how easily it is to trigger these people by giving them truth and facts. They cannot handle that. They cannot handle truth and facts. Just sets them on fire. And it's funny to watch. It really is. They're just being ignorant. They're being dumb. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on the whole Twitter situation. Let me know how you feel about them changing Velma into a gay character when she's obviously not gay. And, how that shit should be left out of, kids shows anyway. It's a kids show, not an adult. They shouldn't be focused on sexuality. And I know damn good and well that 1% of the alphabet community that whines and complains all the time. They did not watch Scooby-Doo when they were kids because of Velma's sexuality. That's just retarded. That's not what made it popular, idiots. Anyways, let me know how you feel about that. And I think we'll end it right there. And if you have any suggestions for me, some movies or shows or something you want me to review, please leave your suggestions in the box. Maybe I've missed a hidden gem that I don't know about. Please leave your suggestions down in the box below, or comments down below, and I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. That's all I have for you. Until next time, I told you you'd be told the truth, and you just been told.